Good morning, everybody. Davis Tallow here once again with another Freefall special. 30 days, 30 bands, all live albums. And I hope your day is going good so far. Mine has yet to begin. But anyway, hopefully the week goes great. Fingers crossed. Had a great warm weekend. Far different from last weekend when we had a warm Saturday and a snowy Sunday. This weekend was really great. In the 70s, got out, did some things. But I hope where you're at, things are going great, uh, weather-wise, or life in general. So anyway, you've been following this from the beginning. I was doing everything, all the bands in alphabetical order, but I decided to change things up, and I'm going to mix it up, do random bands, and last, see, yeah, yesterday I did Heaven and Hell. Well, today we're going to go to Pink Floyd, the Mighty Floyd. And the first album, which is a double album, released November 7th, 1969 on Harvest Records. Considered a live recording and a studio recording. And I decided to, I could have skipped this one, but I decided to include it. Of course, that's Amagama. Let me show you what it comes in. When I got it, came in this nice little package, little green package like this. On the back, I don't know what that's. I guess that's supposed to be Amagama squared. But anyway, if you're familiar with this album, the first disc, of course, is the live album. And I like the way they did the artwork on here. Hypnosis. They knew how to do album covers. Not all the time, but on this one. I've also got this on vinyl, but I decided to pull out the CD instead. See how it's smaller. And it's got more stuff in it, which the vinyl doesn't have. Anyway, David Gilmour. Roger. Nick Mason. And last but not least, Richard Wright, who is no longer with us. Just sad. Great keyboardist, great writer of music. Intricate part of Pink Floyd, even though Roger later on didn't appreciate his contributions. But anyway, live album. Let's see, this is the studio album. Okay, we'll get this right here. Okay, here we go. Here's the live album. Now this picture actually was on the back of the the vinyl version. Let's see, open this baby up. Okay, here we go. Now see, the vinyl version doesn't have these concert shots, which is kind of neat. It's kind of, usually it's the other way around. The vinyl has more, and the CD doesn't has less. But in this case, it's the CD has more than the vinyl. Great live shots here. Well, some of these pictures, I believe, like this one right here, is probably from the Dark Side of the Moon tour. I could be wrong. Pink Floyd is one of my favorite all-time bands. And unfortunately, I never got to see them live. I wish I did. But that's why things go sometimes. Anyway, the live album, or the live CD, live portion of it, recorded at uh, the Mothers Club. There's a little venue above some shops in Birmingham, Ellington suburb, or Ellington, Elderton suburb. I'll get it out there eventually. Foods, astronomy, donomy, careful with acts, Eugene, set the controls for the heart of the sun, and a saucer full of secrets. Of course, Astronomy Domini is off the first album. Careful Acts of Jane is just a single, was never on a regular album. Though it would show up, later on Relics. And also great version on Pink Floyd at Pompeii. So definitely check that out. Set the controls for the heart of the sun. Love that song. It's haunting, moody, just it's hard to explain. Saucer full of secrets. Bizarre tune. Do I like it? I don't hate it, but I don't really like it. The live version's good. They do it on Pink Floyd at Pompeii, which is good, but the studio album version I don't really care for. So anyway, the studio album, basically what they did was the members decided to do a piece, a song themselves without the others' input, the other three members' input. Rick Wright did. Now I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Sisyphus. I guess that's how you pronounce it. It's a 4-part instrumental, basically on piano and stuff. Organ, haunting, moody. Later on, Richard would say he was enthused at first, but later on he kind of had a falling out with what he did on this album. The shining portion of this album, studio album, is Meadows by Roger Waters. Really good acoustic piece. That's followed by several species of small fur animals gathered together in a cave and grooving with a pick. Bizarre little tune. Has Roger on there speaking in, I believe, Gaelic. I might be wrong. Then you go to The Narrow Way, a 3-parter by David Gilmour. David, he wasn't too enthused about doing this. He just went and started tacking pieces together. Though it's said that they did some of it live, a portion of it live before they put this all together. Um, but anyway, I believe it was just an instrumental because David said he asked Roger to write some lyrics for it, and Roger said, "No, no, you had to do it on your own. You didn't help me. I'm not helping you." So, but the narrow way, it's still a good tune. David Gilmour doesn't like it. He said so. He's kind of embarrassed by it. In fact, if you listen to it, his lyrics, you really can't tell what he's saying. Though I finally looked at the lyrics, and they're not too bad. David's not a big lyric man. He can write music great, but lyrics, he's even to this day, his wife Polly, she's trying to get him to write lyrics, and he's improving. Though he tends to shy away from it. Uh, then the ends with Gran Visor's Garden Party by Nick Mason, and he has his wife play flute on it, which is a good little piece. But all in all, the shining light on this is the live portion. I remember when I first got this album back in the early '80s, when after I became a Pink Floyd fanatic. I just didn't know what to make of it. I mean, the first four songs, well, let's put it this way: I got introduced to Pink Floyd with The Wall. The very first song I heard that I knew was Pink Floyd was Another Brick in the Wall Part Two. Even though I'd heard Pink Floyd before that, I didn't know who it was. It was the beginning of Time. First few minutes of it where I'd heard that on a show called Sci-Fi Theater. It was the theme music for that show, and I always thought it was cool, you know. But then I heard it on the wall, or not the wall, Dark Side of the Moon. I'm like, what? I heard Pink Floyd all these years, and I didn't realize it. So, but after hearing that and the wall and the others, Wish You Were Here. When I listened to Amagama, I'm like, I mean, it's totally different from later stuff. I mean, if you, of course, any Pink Floyd fanatic or fan will know what I'm talking about. If you don't know Pink Floyd, I would suggest that you start at the beginning with their first album, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, and then go down. Because if you start with, like, say, Wish You Were Here or Animals or something, and then you go to Piper at the Gates of Dawn or this album, it's going to be a shock. It was for me. So anyway, that's the first live album. Next one. Now, there have been bootlegs and stuff, bootleg live albums over the years, but of course we're not going to include those. They didn't get another live album out until the late '80s. Not the official live album, let's put it that way. Released, let's see, where is it? November 22nd, 1988, from their support of the momentary lapse of reason. Jeez. Momentary lapse of memory here. And of course, I'm talking about Delicate Sound of Thunder. I remember when this came out, I thought it was a brand new studio album. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I turned it over. I'm like, well, wait a minute. These are all uh, songs that I know. Can't. Then I'm like, oh, duh. It's a live album. Hooray, hooray. So this is a really good live album. I love it. I mean, Pink Floyd is all about not only the music, but the show, the mood. I mean, there's a live DVD of this. If you have a chance to get it, do so. I mean, it's just Floyd hide their powers. Now, I know there's people out there that say, well, it's really not Pink Floyd because Roger Waters not with them. Well, if you're a Roger Waters fan, good for you. More power to you. But at this point, Roger and the rest of the band were not on talking or speaking terms, especially after he tried to keep him from continuing on. Because I think Roger knew that if he went out and Floyd went out, Floyd would win over more with the fans than he would. And it was true. He did struggle on his tours, his solo tours. And I think that kind of hurt him, pissed him off a little bit. But, that's when you're a band and your one member wants to assert his power and they basically tell the other members, well, I matter and you don't. Well, the other members are not going to say, oh, well, sure thing. Sorry. We'll just quit. No, they're going to continue to fight and play the music they want to play, the music they were involved with. And that's what happened here. Starts out with "Shine On You Crazy Diamond," which was, from what I understand, they didn't start the tour with that doing that or song. They added it later to their set list. Then it goes to "Learning to Fly." I remember hearing that. I'm not a big fan of that anymore. It's kind of one of those songs that's kind of wore out its welcome with me. I'll start listen to it from time to time, but it just, I don't know. It's strange how when you hear a song, you'll love it first, and later on you'll hate, come to loathe it. Not hate it, but loathe it. Probably because I've heard it so many times on the radio. You know, I'm sorry, but the radio has a tendency to ruin things. Goes into yet another movie, Round and Round, Sorrow. The Dogs of War is great. On the Turning Away, one of my all-time favorite Floyd songs. I love it. That's the exact opposite of Learning to Fly. That song I cannot get sick of. Disc 2 is basically the backtrack or back catalog. One of These Days, fantastic. Time, Wish You Were Here, Us and Them, Money. Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, of course, which is another song that wore its welcome out with me. Comfortably Numb, another song that cannot and will never wear out with me. And then Run Like Hell. Great track list. I mean, definitely check this out. Like I said, Pink Floyd is at their height of their powers. It would have been nice if Roger would have mended the fences and got back with them, but he wanted to do his own thing. I think he was, by the time they got done with the final cut, he was wanting to move on to other pastures, try different things out. Like I said, he just expected the rest of the band to say, "Okay, so yeah, we'll just quit. We'll do our own thing." But they weren't ready. So, and I don't blame them. So anyway, moving on to the next one. Of course, this one was the support of Division Bell, released May 29th, 1995. Of course, I'm talking about Pulse. And this cover and everything was really neat because it had a little light here. If I wanted to, I could put a battery in there and it would pulse for the life of the battery. I wonder if I can take this out. Ooh. Oh, it's stuck. Oh no. Come out of there. Yeah, see. Here we go. Okay. How does that come out? Okay, this slides up. There you go. You put your batteries in there. Slip it in. Slides in that little slot right there. Just kind of neat. I guess I really ought to put some batteries in, but I'm always worried. Good grief. Can't get it back in there. I'm always worried about the battery corroding. I'll put that back later. But anyway, I'm worried about the battery corroding and putting a bunch of acidy flakes in there. I don't want that. So anyway, this is a really wonderful way to end a band's career, or send the band off to retirement. Even though there would be one more hurrah after this with the Endless River. Of course, there was no tour on that one. That was just Endless River was just basically a salute to Richard Wright. A lot of pictures in this one, more than in Delicate Sound of Thunder. And there's a DVD of these concerts. I mean, it's just wonderful. And I know Floyd did get back together with Roger. I think it was 2006 at the Live 8. And did a bunch of songs. Of course, everybody was hoping that they were going to get back together, do an album, do a tour. A lot of critics were saying, they should do it. Do it. They would. I believe if they would have got back together, it would have been the biggest tour on the planet. Of course, that was shot down. I believe. Well, David, he was doing his own thing by this time, and he really didn't want to resurrect anything. And then I believe 2 years later, Richard passed away. So that basically shot any reunions, any possibility of reunion down the drain. And though David and Roger have got together and done some concerts together. Uh, he guest appeared on Roger's The Wall tour. I believe that was probably about 10 years ago. A lot of pictures here. And I'm going to show them all to you. And you're probably getting back. Maybe that's enough. So, and there's the back. Don't know what the hell that's supposed to be. Looks kind of like the Death Star. Anyway, it would have been great if they could have done it one more time. Um, one more concert tour, one more album with Roger, but it wasn't meant to be. Anyway, on this album, um, starts out with "Shining You Crazy Diamond." Even though I love that song, I think they should have started the concert off with something different. But anyway, it's what it is. It is. Uh, Stromedy, Domini. They do that on here, which I think was wonderful. They hadn't done that song for years. Uh, it goes with what do you want from me from Division Bell, Learning to Fly, Keep Talking. One of my favorite tracks off of the Division Bell, along with Coming Back to Life. Love that song. Hey You, Great Day for Freedom's great good song. Sorrow, uh, Sorrow. I like to a point, but it they could have kept it off this album, done something different. High Hopes, I love that one. Of course, then they have to include Another Brick in the Wall Part Two. That's, don't let it be, go with concert go without doing that. Then disc two is they did the entire Dark Side of the Moon, which I thought was great. I wish I could have seen this concert in person, but seeing it on the DVDs just as good. It starts with "Speak to Me," "Breathe in the Air," "On the Run," "Time," "Great Gig in the Great Gig in the Sky," "Money," "Us and Them," "Any Color You Like," "Brain Damage and Eclipse." Then they end the concert with "Wish You Were Here," "Comfortably Numb," and "Run Like Hell." Basically the same as off of the previous one. Um, it's just too bad that such a great band had to have such strife. Band members not liking each other. But it happens. Of course, like I said, David and Roger have mended their fence with each other. Though I think as of late, they're kind of been a little bit of argument. I believe with the release of Animals, the remastered version. Um, there was some stuff that Roger wanted to add into the album itself, but some words and stuff. I don't know what it was, but David didn't want to do that. He wanted to keep Animals the way it was. He didn't want to add anything that would detract, I think, from it. So anyway, there you have it. Pink Floyd. Of course, Pulse, Delicate Sound of Thunder, and Amagama. So anyway, Please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment down below, and let me see what you have in your Pink Floyd collection, especially your live. What if you have any of these, and what you like about Pink Floyd, if you like Pink Floyd. If you've never heard Pink Floyd, check them out. I think you'll be surprised. A lot of people, Pink Floyd is one of the premier rock groups, whether you're in hip hop or something. I've seen a lot of people who listen just like hip hop, but have listened to Pink Floyd and been pleasantly surprised by them. So anyway, please go check them out, and we'll see you on today's day 9. Yeah, day 9 of this. We'll see you on day 10. So have a good evening, good day. We'll talk to you later.